So first of all, we have seen a very active first 2 or 3 months in the year, which we did not really expect. Last year was relatively calm in terms of equity trading in Europe, and most people actually predicted that US will see a lot of activity similar to last year. But what happened was actually a lot of flow and a lot of trading activity moved to Europe. And we have seen that on the Swiss and Spanish exchange, where trading volume is up with more than 25% versus last year. So that's one part. But what is also interesting is last year we saw quite many listings, IPOs in Spain and Switzerland. We see that pattern also continue this year. So great to see, and we had the biggest IPOs in Spain and Switzerland. Last year we saw the biggest IPOs so far this year in Europe in Spain. So listing is and IPOs are still active, which is important for us as an exchange.
I want to talk more about IPOs in just a minute, but first, in terms of market stress, are there any indicators that you look at specifically from any market participants to gauge whether we are in, entering a particularly difficult or stressful situation where the trading could become disorderly?
No, we do not see any pattern of that. We saw the 2 first months where actually market was actually very active, and also you saw pretty nice increases on European equities. Then you saw more volatility, uncertainty in March. And that's why you sometimes see IPOs being postponed, not cancelled, but being postponed when you see volatility. But we do not see significant stress. We see more activity, which is good, and more trading opportunities, which is good, but no stress in the market.
When it comes to IPOs, we know private equity is sitting on a ton of deals that they would love to exit, and they're actually, under pressure to exit. And we haven't seen the type of activity that many were hoping for so far this year, given all of the uncertainty. What does the pipeline look like for IPOs in Europe specifically for 2025?
So at least I can speak on behalf of the exchange in Spain and Switzerland. We have strong and healthy pipeline. We have had in Spain so far 5 SME listings. We had 1 yesterday, by the way. And as I mentioned earlier, the biggest IPO so far in Europe, Hotel Beds in Spain earlier this year. So a strong and healthy pipeline. And I think actually the success story from last year, we had one of the biggest IPOs in Europe in Galderma, owned by private equity, listed in Switzerland, very successful, seen as one of the most successful IPOs last year. So I think that triggers some interest and activity for other companies to list with us. So I think from a European point of view, at least Swiss and Spanish point of view, momentum is great and strong.
Bjørn, lovely to see you. We live in the era of vast amounts of private credit and private capital markets. I mean, this is Juliana's speciality as well. But just remind those money men and women watching this channel the benefits of listing rather than staying as unicorns, decacorns, centicorns on the private markets and those assets not going onto market.
Yeah. So if you look at SMEs, if I start there, small cap companies, our job is here to help SMEs, small cap companies, to get access to capital so they can grow and create jobs. That's a great purpose we as an exchange have. At the same time, we give investors, retail institutional investors, the opportunity to invest in those companies. So I think what we see, SME companies that list on exchanges get access to capital, they grow and create more jobs than similar type of companies. So that's one part. But the other part, and people tend to forget that, listed companies, and during COVID, you saw quite many companies that had to raise capital either to survive or to do acquisitions. So the access to capital when you are a listed company to do acquisitions, or actually for some companies even to survive, it's super important. So I think that's a key part of being a listed company.